Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Mid-America Motorworks. Pursue your passion at mamotorworks.com. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, Alexa or Hey Google, play the podcast called Corvette Today, and you're connected. Also, visit the Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteTodayPodcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you visit the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And don't forget, join the Corvette Today Facebook group. We have over 3,400 members, and I'd love to have you as a member as well. I'm also excited to tell you about the new YouTube channel for Corvette Today. See your favorite Corvette Today podcasts now on YouTube. First, I'd like to thank our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 unique design styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvette. It's an absurd value starting at only $19.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And now use the new promo code CT111, that's CT111, and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, with the new promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. Also, Corvette Fever magazine. Corvette Fever has been relaunched with an online and printed version. The online version has incredible interactivity with hidden photos and information, and the printed version is nothing like you've ever seen before, huge and glossy. Get your free online version at CorvetteFeverMag.com. You can also sign up for the printed version there as well. Corvette Fever magazine, come along for the ride. Also, MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of fellow Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at MidEngineCorvetteForum.com. Also, a shout out to CanadianCorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette owners from around the world. It's time to get the latest Corvette news and headlines with my buddy Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith is a regular guest on Corvette Today. He's here twice per month, every other week, to keep you up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. Keith, how are you? How's the winter going in Tampa?
Doing very good, Steve. Everything's going well here. We've had a couple of days of cold weather, and then it just bounces right back to the high 70s, low 80s. That's my climate report from the great state of Florida.
There you go. That sounds good. Well, buddy, let's jump right into it. As we always do in section number 1, we talk about Corvette news. Let's get our latest update about Corvette production from the Bowling Green Assembly Plant.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a run now where they're working Mondays through Fridays, and we're going to see that all the way through Easter. We're having ups and downs. This week, we're actually going to cross over the 15,000 VINs for the 2022 model year. So that's just moving right along. We've got the 2022 model year will actually run through the first week of May. So we've got plenty of 2022s yet still to be built. Like I said, we have seen some ups and downs. You know, we had that record week a few weeks back where we did 1,036 cars, even saw a Saturday shift. But since then, we've been back into what we call regular production. We haven't seen any overtime. We haven't seen any major spikes in production. In fact, our high over the last couple of weeks was 189, which is a great number. But we also had a low of 134. Could be supplies, could be people with COVID and Omicron, but they are cranking out cars. So I would say that things are moving right along.
That's good to hear. Also, I was sad to see this. The 2022 Stingrays are going to lose their rear park assist just because of a shortage on chips.
For the most part, Corvettes have been protected, but now we're seeing that Chevrolet is wanting to get some of those cars that they've had on the sidelines for a while that they've been taking the chips from and getting those back out there. We are seeing our first chip-related constraint, and this is on the park assist. So the rear park assist is the feature that beeps when you back up in reverse. The good news is that there will be availability of parts to retrofit this option sometime in the fourth quarter, and for buyers that did have this script from them, I think you'll see a $50 credit. It'll be listed on the window sticker, but it is something that unfortunately is going to be impacted by that chip shortage. We do have a couple other constraints as well. We told you about this, I think, the last time we talked, Steve, which is the engine appearance and lighting package, RPO ZZ3, and then the high wing spoiler in carbon flash metallic, the 5ZZ. Both of these are on constraints. The engine appearance package, I don't know if we'll see before the end of the model year, and it might even be constrained into next year. The high wing spoiler, same thing. Don't know if we'll get that back in a couple months or not. So we'll just have to keep waiting and see what happens there as well. But we do have some good news coming back on the 7th this week. We have the carbon fiber outside mirror covers and the carbon fiber grille inserts on the front fascia. So those are both coming back. And now it's just a matter of working through supplies, seeing what we've got, and continuing to move forward.
Very cool. I love the carbon fiber stuff, so I'm glad to hear that's coming back.
Yeah, this news comes from a dealer memo. And just one other note is that Chevy again reconfirms 2023 order guide is dropping on March 21st. And then the pre-orders will start on March 24th for the 2023. So again, it still looks like the schedule is in place for a May 9th start of production for the 2023 Corvettes. Again, we're hoping that the Z06s start that day, although we are expecting some sort of ramp up. Looks like it's all good news and things are moving forward and those dates are going to stick. So we're hoping that's going to be the case.
It's just a couple months away. I'm so excited. As you know, 2 weeks ago, Keith and I talked about the release of the 70th anniversary edition, and it was just a rumor at that point. But now Chevrolet has officially released all the information about the new 70th anniversary Corvette.
Yes, it was leaked on the visualizer, and we caught news the morning that we recorded the last podcast. So we were able to grab some screenshots. We did have some information about the car. And then on Monday, Chevrolet officially released the package. This is official information that we're sharing. Of course, we have two new colors, the white pearl metallic tri-coat and a carbon flash metallic. Really excited about that white pearl. Haven't seen anything like that on the Corvette previously. We're going to have 14 colors for 2023, but those two colors for the 70th anniversary package are exclusive. So the only way you can get those is by ordering the 70th anniversary package. Some other things that we learned is both of the cars were shown with stripes, and those stripes are optional. We also have exclusive wheel designs with edge red stripes, edge red calipers, and 70th anniversary badging. Inside, you got a new color, that ceramic leather, which should be really cool. It's a two-tone. And then you can choose between GT2 or competition seats. There's red stitching, red seat belts. There's logos on the seats, steering wheel, and sill plates. They really have done a nice job, I think. If you want one of these special editions, it's always going to be a 3LT or a 3LZ, so you're going to be paying for it. But then also you get some cool stuff. You're going to be getting the custom luggage set, which also has red stitching and 70th anniversary logos. And then all Corvettes will also feature, this is all Corvettes, will have a 70th anniversary badge. The Cross Flags badge is going to be updated for 2023. And then, of course, you'll have the anniversary plaques on the center grille speakers throughout. And then there's that one other logo, which we saw at the reveal of the 2023, which is a 70th anniversary edition that's imprinted on the lower rear window on the back of the car. Really a nice package. Of course, people will say that it's just a design package, and of course, that's what it is. But this does represent 70 years of Corvette innovation, performance, and just being a great car for enthusiasts to enjoy and have fun with. We're very excited about this package, and I can't wait to see that new white in the sun. It's going to be something, I think.
I'm excited about it too, buddy. That's for sure. Also, I was really glad to see Australia and New Zealand taking their first deliveries of their right-hand drive C8 Stingrays.
Yeah, GMSV, the General Motors Specialty Vehicles, is the organization over there that imports these cars. Of course, the Corvettes are coming into the country for the first time as right-hand drive models. And they posted on January 22nd that the first C8s have been delivered and shared to their new owners. Pretty cool. Again, these people have been waiting a lot longer than us. They pay a lot more to have these cars. The coupes in Australia start at 160,000 Australian dollars and nearly 170,000 in New Zealand. If you want the convertible, you're going to be adding $15,000 more. Huge markups down there for those customers. We kind of feel for them. But at the same point, they are getting the first right-hand drives from the factory and are able to enjoy them immediately. So congratulations to those new owners. We'd love to see new Corvettes being delivered. We'll be keeping an eye out for some of the other markets as well.
Very true, buddy. And finally, Chevrolet unfortunately officially retired the LS7 V8 crate engine. I was sad to see that go away.
Yeah, well, obviously, we haven't had the actual LS7 since the 2013 Z06 went away. That car actually ended up in the 5th generation Camaro Z28. And then it was offered as a crate engine. They called it the 427/570. It was 427 cubic inches and had 570 horsepower as a crate engine. Chevy's always done a great job presenting crate engines for buyers that want to put these into hot rods and resto mods. They have the whole connect and cruise feature where you can also get everything you need. That includes the engine, a transmission, all the wiring harnesses. So all you do is you just drop that in your car and you're good to go. So yeah, very sad to see the LS7 finally go away. I'm sure they're going to be able to find some engines out there, but brand new ones with no miles, they're going to be in demand and hard to find.
Absolutely right. Keith, let's take our first break, and in section number 2, we'll talk about Corvette racing and some rumors here on Corvette Today.
American Hydrocarbon is your one-stop shop for custom interior, exterior, and engine bay items for your C4 through C8 Corvette. We can help you create a custom look for your Corvette with carbon fiber or 10 different color patterns and styles. Whether it's a custom-made engine cover for your new C8 mid-engine Corvette or custom-made C4 interior upgrades, American Hydrocarbon can help you transform your Corvette into a best-in-class show car. And now we're proud to announce that we can produce and distribute officially licensed GM products for the C8 Corvette. That includes the front splitter, side skirts, engine appearance panels, and engine fluid caps. Plus, we now also carry the C8 Speedline side skirts along with the engine appearance package and high wing. Our products have been featured in Vette and Corvette magazines. Give us a call, 813-476-5638. Visit our updated website at AmericanHydrocarbon.com or email us at pat@AmericanHydrocarbon.com. Let us help you make your Corvette the car you've always wanted it to be. American Hydrocarbon.
Hey, honey, are you awake?
I am now.
I can't sleep. Since turning 50, I keep dreaming of a red door and a blue door, somehow knowing there are only choices for retirement.
Okay.
Through the red door, we outlive our money. We have to rely on our kids. We're stuck on a fixed income. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that would suck.
But through the blue door, our money outlives us. We retire on our terms. Our kids stay our kids, not our caretakers. We make work optional.
Yes, that's much better. That's what I want too. But what do we do?
We call True Wealth & Company at 913-653-8783. They specialize in helping successful people make work optional. They're our fiduciary Blue Door personal wealth managers.
Hey, where are you going? It's 3 a.m.
I can't sleep. I'm going to check out True Wealth & Company online at retirewithtrue.com. That Blue Door is going to be our retirement.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for listening to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Mid-America Motorworks. Pursue your passion at mamotorworks.com. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me every other week is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you up to date on what's happening in the world of Corvette. And by the way, you can find all these stories at CorvetteBlogger.com. In section number 2, we're going to talk about Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. First of all, Keith, let's talk about the results that Corvette racing had at the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Well, it was a tough race. First of all, you got 13 cars in this class. There is crazy restarts, all kinds of bunching up when we see the yellows and then the restarts there. Boy, it was a lot of, as some of the English say, a lot of argy-bargy going on during that race. Leading up to the race, we got hit with another balance of performance change. We never really had pace at the Roar race, at the qualifying race. And then we get hit with another 15 kilograms of weight, but they did improve the wing angle. It's going to be a little bit of a tough road, I think, for us. Also, probably the BMWs. These are cars that are coming into the series. We're running a waiver, so it's just going to be tougher for us. Our car is built for high downforce. We've got less engine performance. We've got less speed. And so that downforce isn't coming into play as much as it did in GTLM. Big learning curve there. We finished 6th. The number 3 car with Antonio Garcia, Jordan Taylor, and Nicky Katzberg finished 6th in class. And then the number 4 car with Tommy Milner, Nick Tandy, and Marco Sorensen finished 10th. Everything seemed to be going along swimmingly. I think we were as high as number 4, maybe 3rd place. And it was the 4 car that really had a lot of really good pace. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, both cars ended up going back to the garages. The number 3 had an electrical issue, which cost the team, I think, 13 laps. And then the number 4 car on a restart, they got hit in the rear. Seemed like everything was okay, but then when they pitted, they couldn't get the car restarted, and they just lost 2.5 hours replacing all kinds of stuff in the back there. The good news is that the number 4 car did salvage a top 10 finish. So we did get points for the 6th place and the 10-point finish there. It was tough. It was a tough race. And you know what really happened during the race? The Corvettes just seemed to disappear from the television coverage. Both unfortunate, but I think, again, a result of being part of this huge class. And now you're down in the rankings for that race. You just don't garner the television coverage. There's no good battles when you're 6th and 10th place. That was difficult. But I think for the first time out, it was a good showing. We've got Sebring coming up. We've got a full schedule ahead of us, 10, 11 races, including Le Mans. So plenty of time to really find our mojo and get back into the game here for the 2022 season. It was a tough debut for GTT Pro at Daytona, but again, we've got a lot of racing ahead of us. So stay tuned. Corvette Racing never gives up, but we take no prisoners once we do. Be ready for that, Steve. That's all I can say.
We got a whole season ahead of us, buddy. The first one is a tough one, especially when you're going into a different class. So we'll do good. I'm not worried about them at all. It was cool to see, though. Jordan Taylor did a video that takes us behind the scenes at Daytona. That was a lot of fun to watch.
He had announced a new YouTube channel just before the season started, and we saw his first episode drop right after the roar. And that allowed us, again, to see what's going on behind the scenes, the camaraderie of the team and the drivers together, and all the things that they kind of go through that we don't see on television or if we're at the race because they're in trailers or in the pit boxes. Really good stuff there. I would definitely recommend subscribing to Jordan Taylor's YouTube channel. As far as most of this racing content, if it's good stuff, we're going to carry it on Corvette Blogger. Definitely want to be able to follow that.
Absolutely. Also in the rumors section, the C8 engineering group was spotted in Arizona with some Z06s. They were doing some revs and everything. So it was kind of exciting to see them out and around.
Yeah, so we caught a quick video maybe a week and a half ago of cars out on US 89 in Arizona. We counted 9. I believe there was 9 Z06s, and then there's the yellow Stingray car they benchmarked, and then the GT2 RS from Porsche that they also benchmarked, and those were all included as well. So then another video surfaced, and we see, again, the 9 Z06s, the Porsche GT2, and then we see also Harlan Charles, ride and handling engineer Alex McDonald, Josh Holder was out there. We believe we saw Tadge Jucker. Everybody's wearing masks. He might have had a hat on. These guys were out in Arizona, and they just happened to also show up at Barrett Jackson, which we'll talk about in a few minutes here. But they're testing these cars. I think this is a really good sign with this kind of group and how far they've gone and where they're driving. This is hopefully just some last-minute changes or some validation or some updates that they're getting finished and ready to do before they can really release these cars for pre-production, do some additional testing, and get the miles on them. Good stuff to see these cars out there. They were in a parking lot, and we got to watch them. They all started up their cars, and then they pulled out one by one. The cameraman was right there, and actually Harlan threw us a Corvette wave. So that was pretty cool to see that as well. Good to see these cars out there. We want to see more of them, and we carry anytime we see a Z06 out there, we're definitely carrying it. So you can capture that on Corvette Blogger as well.
Also about the Z06, the new dealership tour is going to start at Ciocca Chevrolet this month, February 18th and 19th.
That's right. So we've got the dealer tours. Now, we've had a couple of emails to us saying, boy, you should get all the dealer dates and times and put them out there. We've tried. We've contacted Chevy before. They want Chevrolet dealers to contact their own customers, so they're leaving that for the individual dealerships. However, we're keeping a list. I know our friends over at the Mid-Engine Corvette Forum are keeping a list. If you go over there and just type into the search box Z06 dealer tour, you'll find the thread, and there's a list there. I think we've got so far about 10 dealers. It does kick off at Ciocca in Atlantic City on February 18th. They're going to be at McMulkin on the 19th. I know they'll be down at Stingray Chevrolet on March 25th. They're going to be at Whitmoyer June 17th. Coghlan Chevrolet, I believe, on August 2nd. So as we get more dates, we're going to continue to update our list. If you are a Chevy dealer out there or a representative for a Chevy dealer that's listening, email us your Z06 tour date. We would love to be able to promote it. Keith at CorvetteBlogger.com is my email address. Feel free to send that over to us and we'll get it updated. We definitely want to know when the Z06s are coming to your dealership. So let us know and we'll let the Corvette Nation know.
Perfect, buddy. Thank you. Well, Keith, let's take our final break, and in section number 3, we're going to talk about the lighter side of Corvette here on Corvette Today.
VetteFinders.com is the internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25, and every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetteFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada, and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetteFinders.com, the internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
Mid-American Motorworks has been the industry leader and aftermarket supplier and manufacturer of Corvette replacement parts and accessories since 1974. We have what you need for all years and generations of Corvette. Whether you need a door panel or seat cover for your C1 Corvette, or the latest shirt, jacket, hat, or lifestyle accessory to complement your new C8, you can get it at Mid-American Motorworks. So if you're restoring, repairing, replacing, or simply researching your Corvette, Mid-American Motorworks is the place to go. Visit our website at mamotorworks.com and shop Corvettes by generation or specific year. Or call us Monday through Saturday toll-free at 800-500-1500 and talk to one of our Corvette experts to help you get the right part or accessory. Pursue your passion with Mid-America Motorworks.
This is the Corvette Today podcast with Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for listening to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Mid-America Motorworks. Pursue your passion at mamotorworks.com. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me every other week is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you up to date and current on what's happening with America's sports car. In this third and final segment, we're going to talk about the lighter side of Corvette. First of all, Keith, Rick Hendrick was at Barrett Jackson, Scottsdale. He bought the first production Z06, $3.6 million.
Yeah, it actually did go for more than the first 2020 Corvette Stingray, which is also owned by Rick Hendrick, a Chevrolet dealer and a NASCAR team owner. This is exciting. He actually wasn't there. He had a bid by representative. This car that he won, it will actually be the 70th anniversary. Most likely he will do it in the carbon flash metallic. He tends to like his cars black, and I know he orders a lot of his first cars as black. His VIN number ones is black. So really no surprise there. People that say it was no big surprise. For him to win it at $3.6 million means that somebody was bidding all the way up to that point with him. So somebody else wanted that car just as bad, and unfortunately had to walk away from it. It was cool to see, though. You know, we had members of the Corvette team up there. The car was introduced by Oliver Gavin, who drove it up on the stage. We also had GM Sean Finnegan do the introduction for the car. And then the proceeds benefit Operation Homefront, which is a military family service organization. Really cool there. They had a brigadier general up there to talk about their mission. It was just really fun to watch. You know, these things are just so exciting. And I can imagine being in the auction hall and seeing a car go for over $3 million is pretty exciting. There was another video by Speed Phenom, YouTuber Speed Phenom, who was at Barrett Jackson during all this. He captured a lot of behind the scenes action as well. If you go onto Corvette Blogger, if you go to YouTube, you can see the official Barrett Jackson auction of the car, but also check out the Speed Phenom behind the scenes, because you can see him moving the car, and Oliver's doing the moving of the car from its display area to where it gets closer to the block, and then he drives it on the block. And as he's cruising through all these people, he's continually pulling back on the paddles and he's revving the engine. And it sounds so good. It was really fun to watch that behind the scenes, because they had like 2 or 3 police officers doing the escort, you know, moving people out of the way a little bit, and just real exciting. We told you that members of the Corvette engineering team were out there, Harlan Charles and Josh Holt, and we actually saw them on the stage as well. And I'm sure they were glad to be out there in person to see that first retail Z06 sell for $3.6 million. Amazing car, an amazing price. And it's going to go into an amazing collection with Rick Hendrick. So congratulations for Rick on that.
It was quite the spectacle for sure, buddy. Also, the host of Corvette Nation, the TV show, Michael Brown, is offering his Hooked on Vets Corvette collection and about 120 plus neon signs at the Mecum auction in Glendale coming up in March.
Yeah, this is really exciting. And Steve and I have some really exciting news. And the fact is, we're actually going to go out and see Michael's collection in person later this month on February 24th. We're going to be doing a live stream of the collection that's going to appear on the Corvette Blogger Facebook page. Stay tuned for that. We'll actually have some more news there, but we are very excited about this collection. Of course, Michael Brown, we've known for a long time. We just mentioned him, I think, in the last podcast because he was the director of the Quest documentary that chronicled the 1960 Cunningham Corvette winning that first Le Mans for Corvette. We've been talking about him. He's done videos on other Corvette collections, and of course, his own collection is amazing. He has a black 1954 as the beginning. It ends with a black 2020 Z51 coupe, and in between, he's got split windows, he's got big blocks, he's got 2009 ZR1, a 2019 ZR1. He's got Z06s in there from C7. So really an exciting collection. And then in addition to all his 13 cars, he has got this amazing collection of neon signs and road art. And all that's going as well at Glendale. The logistics of having to move his collection, because if you go on to Corvette Blogger and you see that picture of his neon, he's got a building that houses his neon collection, and they actually have to remove each of those signs, box them up, make sure they're protected, and then ship them out to Arizona. So they've got a process ahead of them for sure, but we're very excited. Steve, aren't you looking forward to this trip?
Absolutely, buddy. I'm looking forward to doing the live event, and Michael Brown's going to be my guest on the Corvette Today podcast on the week of February 28th as well, where we can go a little bit more in-depth about the cars and the signs as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we see the cars, we see the signs, but when it comes to collections like this, I always like to hear why. Why, Michael? Why this car? Why these signs? Why the emphasis? That's where the personality comes out in a collection. This is a great collection. The pictures are outstanding, so go take a look at them. This is going to be a fun event, and looking forward to seeing Michael in person.
And Keith, we were just talking about Speed Phenom. He was obviously at Barrett Jackson. He did a video of the C8R edition selling at Barrett Jackson for $300,000.
It's an amazing price. This was car number 191, I believe, and it had just a few delivery miles on it. So it was a brand new car, but it certainly wasn't the first C8R edition. Like any auction, there was two guys there that really wanted it, and one of them was able to get it with a hammer hit home at $300,000, which is an amazing price for a car that I believe retails for probably 103 or 105. We saw a very similar car sell at Mika Kissimmee for 160. That price actually makes a little bit more sense. It was just funny because Speed Phenom's got a yellow C8R edition. He's got the number 8 car. I think he was lamenting the fact that he wishes that it was his car that sold for $300,000 because it was just an amazing price on a car that two people wanted.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. Two people wanted it and one of them got it. I don't think that that's the default price for a C8R edition by far, but it just shows you what happens when two people want a car at Barrett Jackson.
Definitely. Also from Barrett Jackson, the Corvette team did a roundtable discussion about the Z06.
Yeah, this was a really good find. I believe this video was taken either the day of or the day before that the 2023 Corvette Z06 was auctioned. But again, we have Harlan Charles, Oliver Gavin, Josh Holder, and Kai Spandy was also there, the director of the Corvette assembly plant. They were at the display area outside with the Z06s, and Craig Jackson was there. And so they kind of just talked about the cars a little bit. So Craig gave us some info about him and his love of Corvette. He said his second car he ever bought was a 68 big block. And he said he blew the engine 4 times because he continually was hopping it up. Lately, he's also purchased a 2019 ZR1. He's got the VIN number 1 2019 Z06, and then also a 2020 Corvette. Just loves Corvettes, always has his life. And then we bring in Oliver Gavin, who, of course, you know, is the winningest racing driver for Corvette Racing. Harlan Charles, been Corvette product marketing manager, takes us through some of the history of the cars. And Josh Holder was there answering some of the questions. We found out he was wearing a bidder's pass as opposed to just a regular media pass or a manufacturer's pass to these events. He had a bidder pass. So during the question and answer section, somebody asked him if he was looking for a car, and he gave us the news that he and his wife Angela had purchased a 1965 Resto Mod the day before. These are Corvette people through and through. I know Kai Spandy also has a classic Corvette in his garage. Just a really good roundtable discussion. It lasts a little over 30 minutes, so definitely go check it out at CorvetteBlogger.com.
Also, Keith, I saw where the Corvette got runner-up honors in the IC Cars Best Used Car Study. What was all that about?
Yeah, this was a study that looked at used vehicles between 2018 and 2022. And so we have, obviously a 7th generation and then 8th generation cars. So we saw best luxury convertible honors going to the Chevrolet Corvette, as well as the best luxury sports car honors. These are runner-ups. The Porsche 911, we finished second to in both of them. Other GM cars that made the list include Buick's Encore, as well as the Chevrolet Camaro behind the Ford Mustang in the best used sports car study. These are a little bit subjective, but they're based on customer feedback. And again, anytime you have a long-term customer saying, yes, they like their cars, would buy it again, that's always a win. So kudos to Chevrolet for a couple good place showings in the IC Cars Best Used Vehicles for 2018 to 2022.
Absolutely right, buddy. And finally, the C8 Corvette ranked second on the list of the top 15 cars that are now more expensive than they were when they were new. That's a unique list.
Yes, it is. And again, IC Cars, last year they were charting the fastest selling cars in the United States. This is kind of similar to that. Obviously, if you've got cars that are selling for way over their MSRP, they're going to show up on this list. And that's where the Corvette is. Anybody that's flipping cars, we have dealers that are listing at higher MSRPs. We actually came in second on this list. Our used price is $16,645 more than the new cars that are going for. But at least we weren't number one. Who number one was a Mercedes-Benz G-Class. And those cars are selling for $62,000 more used over what they were selling for as new. They're in demand and people want them. We also have a Tesla Model 3 on this list, Ford Bronco Sport, the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. These are all the vehicles that are heavily in demand right now. You are going to see greater than MSRP a lot of times on the used market. Again, just another sign that Corvette owners and people that want the Corvette are willing to pay whatever it takes to get one.
That's amazing. Truly amazing, buddy. Well, thanks for being on Corvette Today, Keith. Don't forget, if you want to see more in-depth information about any of these stories that we covered on today's podcast, just go to CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith, thanks again. I'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Steve. I want to say thanks to everybody out there. Come visit us at CorvetteBlogger.com. And if we see you on the road, so you keep waving.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today. And please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And also thanks to our flagship sponsors, Mid-America Motorworks. Pursue your passion at mamotorworks.com. American Hydrocarbon at AmericanHydrocarbon.com, True Wealth & Company at RetireWithTrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels, get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at Aerolarri.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.